This is Luke Iorio, and here's this week's Meaningful Moment.
In a lot of the work that I do with students, with coaching clients, things like that, there's a situation that tends to come up more often than not. And it takes me back to a John Steinbeck quote that has always been something that it's meant a lot to me. It's helped me refocus on things and really change the direction of where it was that I wanted to take my work and different things that were very important to me. The quote's very simple. Steinbeck had said that, and now that you don't have to be perfect, you can be good. So many of us get caught up in this idealistic thing, this pretense called perfection. And we believe that this is something that we should be reaching for, that we should be striving for. And of course, what happens is that we either never get started, we never put our work out into the world, we never show up fully the way that we could because we don't believe we're ready. We don't believe it's perfect yet. And so we just don't go there. I think it's really interesting. You know, my business partner and mentor of mine, Bruce Schneider, always chuckled and he said, you know, honestly, the definition of a perfectionist should really be somebody who finds flaw with everything. Because that's what we do. We measure up against this thing that we know can't be attained, and we're doing it for a reason. We're doing it because it's safer for us to not put it out into the world. And even though we use the excuse of we're not putting it out there because it's not perfect yet, it's really more times than not really just an excuse. And so when I started to face this in my own work, my own life, different areas that I felt that, oh, I'm striving for perfection. I don't want to put this out there for my work. I don't want to show up this way in my relationships. I'm not ready for that. I'm not prepared for that yet. I realized it was an excuse for me. And when I started to get away from this idea of perfection and instead step into this place of being vulnerable, of putting it out there, of letting it ship, as Seth Godin says, what happens is that you start to get real good. Because as you put things out, that's when things can take hold. That's when you can realize what's working for you and what's not. That's where you get to evolve and you do something that is really scary. You learn in public. You learn in front of others, even if that other is just your spouse or your partner. It's learning in front of others. But when we do that, that's how we get good. That's how we really start to hone our craft, start to hone who we are and how it is that we show up. But I also want to take it one step further. Something that I had heard recently in a talk that was being given was this wonderful second step to this process. So it begins with the, and now that we don't have to be perfect, be good. And then the next evolution of it is, and now that I don't have to be good, I can be free. Because even good still has a paradigm. It's an empowered way of living. It's an empowered way to be able to put things out there into this world and to improve upon them and get better and to do all those things. Those are wonderful things for us to take on. And it's not that we shouldn't stop striving for that way of living and that way of showing up. We always want to grow. And at the same time, part of that growth is to be free of our own expectations, to be free of the limitations we put on ourselves, to be free of the ways in which we allow our inner critic to get the best of ourselves, to be free of the way that people may label us or judge us in any given way, because it's not just simply about being good, it's about being you. It's about expressing yourself. It's about showing up. It's about experiencing life. It's about all of these things that allow us to be free, to experience this thing called freedom. Freedom is not just simply something that is situational, circumstantial. It's not doing what you want, when you want, with whom you want. That's a recipe which I have strived for. It was a goal of mine for a really long time. I strived to have that, and I recognized that then the situation has to be perfect for me to experience freedom, when really all I needed to do was look within and find that freedom within to begin to have it. So consider for yourself these two steps based on where you may be today. If you're still struggling with that thing called perfectionism, search what that really is about. What is it that you are really doing to yourself? How might it be an excuse for you? Because when you are done being perfect and striving for perfection, you can be good. And if you're starting to put it out into the world, if you're starting to get to the point where you can ship, you can put your art out there, you can put your work out there, you can put yourself out there, know that it's a journey and know that it's a process, and one that will ultimately end in your freedom. Enjoy the ride.